Now that that tentative agreement is on the table and that the House has taken that step to advance that, we really need the Senate to act quickly and get a bill to the president's desk, knowing that it's not perfect, that none of the parties are completely satisfied or got everything that they want in this compromise and in this negotiation.
Congress is on track to pass a measure aimed at preventing a potentially devastating national rail strike. The bill passed in the House today with plenty of bipartisan support. Good news. 79 Republicans joined nearly all House Democrats in supporting the measure. One of those voting in favor was Massachusetts Democratic Congressman Jake Auchincloss. Congressman, good to see you. I want to start with that bill. How is it going to prevent a strike, and why were you a yes?
Good evening, Stephanie. Thanks for having me on. The last thing our economy needs right now is a freight rail shutdown. After 2 years of supply chain snarls, we cannot go into the holiday season with the main supply arteries of our country not able to transport clean water, chemicals, foodstuffs, and consumer packaged goods. And so Congress had to act. We put into law the same deal that 12 union leaders agreed to a few months back with the leadership of Secretary Walsh and President Biden, and we improved upon it by adding 7 paid sick days instead of 1 that was in the original agreement. As Secretary Buttigieg said, this is not perfect. No party is going to be perfectly happy, but it's what's right for the American people who have gone through a lot over the last 3 years and who cannot afford to have yet another disruption to our economy.
You know, I want to ask you about the collapse of the crypto exchange FTX. You knew it well. You know it well. Back in March, you were one of 8 members of Congress signing a letter asking the SEC to basically back off, saying you were being too intrusive with crypto companies. Well, now that very crypto company has over $1 billion in client funds missing. Are you regretting signing that letter?
No, that letter was not asking for the SEC to back off. That is the SEC doing CYA here. That letter didn't even mention FTX. That letter was asking for the SEC to focus on the whales, not the minnows. FTX is clearly a whale. And in fact, several months later in a hearing, I pressed Chair Gensler whether he needed new laws to monitor our crypto exchanges. He said no, he had enough. He had what he needed to do his job. So now the SEC chairman is going to have to come back to Congress and explain why, if he had all the laws he needed, why did he fail to foresee and prevent this meltdown? For 2 years now, I've been saying the same thing. We need strong, clear crypto regulations that protect consumer integrity, that prevent fraud and abuse, and that ensure that the U.S. dollar remains the world's reserve currency. And now we have yet another exclamation point after FTX committed some of the oldest crimes with some of the newest technologies.
Oldest crimes, newest technology. Then what do you think accountability should be for them? Earlier today, Andrew Ross Sorkin told the founder of FTX that the company sounded like a bunch of kids on Adderall having a sleepover.
What we're hearing from the new CEO of FTX, from his disclosures, is that the fraud and crimes being committed by FTX are without precedent, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. We also need to have accountability, though, about why there was less insight into these crimes while they were actually happening. Because, again, SEC chairman tells Congress he has the laws he needs to inspect crypto exchanges. So why was there no real-time oversight here? We need answers.
Did FTX ever donate to you?
I've received support from crypto industry and as well as from crypto detractors. Hasn't changed my crypto policy one bit, which is to say we need strong and clear regulations across the board.
Yes, but has FTX or their super PAC or Sam Bankman-Fried, how well do you know him, has he given to you?
I've received contributions from FTX executives, and again, has not changed crypto policy one iota, because I'm responsive to my constituents and I'm responsive to what is best for consumers and for market integrity and for the U.S. dollar on the world stage. That's what I've been saying since I took office. That's what I'm saying now.
All right. I also want to ask you about your Democratic colleague making history today, being elected the first black party leader in Congress, Hakeem Jeffries. Extraordinary for your party, but Democrats are still going to be in the minority. How are you going to get things done next term?
There's an old joke that Democrats fall in love and Republicans fall in line. And today, Democrats fell in love and fell in line. We unanimously rallied behind a dynamic young leader who is going to take us back into the majority in 2024. Hakeem has his ear to the ground. He understands what Americans' priorities are. He's got the confidence of the caucus. We are a battle-hardened crew from the Trump years. We will work in good faith with Republicans if they come into the majority with real actionable ideas about how to lower costs for Americans, about how to achieve clean energy independence. But if they are going to engage in political theatrics designed solely to weaken or embarrass the president, we're going to fight back ferociously, and Hakeem is going to lead the charge.
You said a next generation. Then I have to ask before we go, what do you think about what Dave Cicilline's doing, taking on Jim Clyburn?
I think we've got a tremendously talented bench in the Democratic caucus, and people are eager to participate. And we always want to encourage folks to get involved. I think Jim Clyburn is an icon, and we want his voice going forward.
You want Jim Clyburn's voice going forward?
Jim Clyburn is going to be part of the discussions for the Democratic Party in the next term. He is an immensely respected counselor for really everybody in the Democratic caucus, and he's going to be involved in these discussions, frankly, with or without a title. But I think that we have just a lot of talented, ambitious people in the Democratic caucus who want to get involved, and one of Hakeem's strengths is that he's able to make room at the table for everybody's ideas and energy.
Right on. All right, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Good to see you. Congressman Jake Auchincloss. Coming up, with just days to go before Georgia's big runoff, some Republicans may have been